So we all know that Buggy is Xebec's son, right? What's going on, people? It's your boy Astro, aka the Galaxy Shogun, and wow, never in my wildest dreams would I have expected that I would be making a video on the subject matter. The meme is coming true. Buggy the goat. Holy crap, it's looking like he in fact is the second son of Rox D. Xebec. We're getting so much more about Xebec in this backstory. Elbaf has just been fan service after fan service. I'm crossing my fingers we get God Valley by the end of this flashback, but the fact of the matter is, things line up too perfectly. I'm not going to make this one too long because for me, I'm like 90% sure that Oda's going to pull this one. And it's just kind of crazy because I think that people as a meme would theorize that Buggy was Xebec's son. I don't know how serious they were, but it's looking pretty serious now, and I'll give you the reason. So first one we want to start off with. And this one should just be the most obvious. The appearance. Half of Xebec's face looks like his son, Blackbeard. We did get the confirmation that Marshall D. Teach is in fact Xebec's son. He's 40 years old, post-time skip. You know, God Valley was 38 years ago. Okay? So, Buggy's age is 39, just putting that out there, so there's about a year or so difference there. The timelines add up, but in terms of Blackbeard, you know, by the time Xebec passed away, he should have been something like 2 years old. Half of his face resembles his first son, Blackbeard. The other half of his face, and I will put up a picture. Wow, that is literally just Buggy. With the scar and everything, like if you just imagine Buggy with a regular nose or Xebec with a red nose, it's kind of surreal. The minute I saw Xebec's face reveal, I was like, wait a minute, wait a darn minute. We're kind of doing the Gogeta thing, you know, where it's like half Goku, half Vegeta. I think they do that with Vegeta too. They literally just found a way to split the designs in half. It looks like you took half of Blackbeard and half of Buggy minus the nose. So that one is, you know, visually pretty obvious to me, but again, Oda likes to throw curveballs, so that might not be definitive proof. That's why we need to move on to point two. Point two is luck. The luck of Xebec's kids. So first of all, you could even argue that Xebec has quite a bit of luck. We don't know what type of matches, as we found out. There's a lot of Davy back fights going on for Xebec to have gotten a lot of his members. That's how he acquired most of the big ones like Whitebeard, Shiki. It's going to be pretty interesting if, you know, they ever decide to dive in on that. I have a feeling that they're not going to focus on that aspect. But either way, you'd like to assume that maybe some Davy back fights could require some luck. I mean, I'm not one of these people that's calling Xebec a fraud. He is probably the top 3 strongest characters like ever in One Piece, or if not top 5. You know, this is like someone that Roger, Garland, and Garp had to basically team up against. You know, and a lot of people like to leave Garland out of this whole God Valley thing, but he was on the side of the Celestial Dragons, and Garp and Roger were protecting the Celestial Dragons. Very obvious for Garp why he'd be doing that given that he's in the Marines, but Roger's a whole different story. So, you know, we have somebody that was capable of basically being the leader of Shiki the Golden Lion, Wang Zi, you know, Captain Morgan, Silver Axe, Big Mom, Charlotte Linlin. Like, you know, her back in the day, she is serious, man. She was agile, slim, busty, everything you want in a pirate. Kaido, like, you know, Kaido was basically relegated to being a cabin boy. Like, we're talking about the King of Beasts, more or less just being the guy cleaning the poop deck, you know? Like, it's kind of insane to think that someone like Xebec, people could legitimately think that he could be weak. There's no way that's going to be the case. Now, to my wider point, again, with luck, I'm not implying that Xebec got to where he got with luck, but I certainly think the more we learn about him, we're going to see some similarities with some of the things that happened between Buggy and Blackbeard as it regards to luck, because Blackbeard, you know, he had Ace come to him when he was going to go after Luffy. Things just kind of end up working Blackbeard's way sometimes, you know? He plans, he typically is a bumbling idiot sometimes, but somehow it ends up working out. Even if Whitebeard's about to kill him or Magellan's gonna kill him, you know, you're gonna have Shiryu save him, or you're gonna have his crew empty their clips on Whitebeard, or Whitebeard, you know, fall down finally with a heart attack from all the damage he's taken before. Like, these type of things constitute his luck. As much as, Blackbeard is conniving, we gotta understand it does come down to luck. And do I even need to talk about Buggy's luck? Buggy is just incredibly lucky. He basically lucked himself in. And some would say it's a bit charisma, but those two things could go hand in hand. Lucked himself in to being a 7 warlord, a Shichibukai, and also basically lucked himself in or charismaed himself in, I guess those words could be interchangeable, to being an emperor, the leader of the Cross Guild. Which brings me to my next point, the influence. And I have already talked about this with other characters. Or I guess in the past section, I should say, to be more apt. Xebec was able to have all the crazy people I listed roughly a minute ago under him. Blackbeard was able to get a ton of villains, the worst of the worst from Impel down on his side somehow, right? He has that charisma. Xebec had that charisma. You know who else has that charisma? Of course, I'm talking none other than Buggy the Clown. How in the world? We are in 2025. It's been 28 years of One Piece. How are we at a point where Crocodile and Dracula Mihawk are under Buggy? And it doesn't even matter if it's in name only. Something that I think that's getting overlooked a lot is that if we look at the 4 Emperor, if this does happen to be true, we're gonna have Buggy now, who not only was basically an adoptive son to Roger, raised alongside Shanks, but the biological son of Xebec, which is insane, because we have Shanks, who is the son of a celestial dragon biologically, but was also basically Roger's adoptive son. And then we have Blackbeard, who is biologically Xebec's son and carries his will. Then we have Luffy, who is basically influenced by Shanks and Roger. So it just creates a really, really nice place that the story can go if this happens to be true, and I gotta tell you people, I'm a believer. It's been your boy Astro. Let me know if you think this is true. Let me know your thoughts on this. Would you like it if this ends up being the case? Was there anything else I missed that connects Blackbeard, Xebec, and Buggy? Please let me know in the comments. It's been your boy Astro. It's super hot, so I gotta go. Peace out.
Do it!